Welcome back. We are Pole on the Call podcast. My name is Mændy Mac,
And I am Chris Rivers.
and today we are so excited because we have with us the amazing Chrissy from Flying Squirrel Studios. It's Flying Squirrel, right?
It's just Flying Squirrel Studio. Probably
Flying.
better known by my Instagram handle, Flexi Squirrel. No real people know my real name, actually.
It's all about
Yay.
handles now.
Yeah,
Love it.
exactly. All about the social media.
Well, thank you so much for taking the time to meet with us today and to share a little bit about yourself and your pole journey and your amazing new studio.
Thank you for having me. Very exciting.
Really my pleasure. Alrighty. So, I feel like we have to change this first question, but tell us how your journey started. What got you into pole?
Okay. So I grew up as a competitive gymnast, dancer, cheerleader. Wasn't necessarily good at any of those things. So that's like dial down your expectations of me as a person. But as I got older, you turn 18, you go to college. After college cheerleading, there was really like no opportunities for me as an adult to be doing things like tumbling and going upside down. I tried yoga and Zumba to try to, I guess, kind of like scratch the itch of dancing and flexibility, but they weren't quite enough. And I had seen acrobats when I went to Cancun a couple of times, like for pole dancers, silk artists, all that fun stuff. And once I passed my CPA exam and was able to live life again, I grabbed my former dancer friend and I was like, let's try pole dance. And I fell in love immediately. It was in a really, really dark place in my life where I felt like I had no worth or purpose when I started. And I feel like for me, pole really helped me dig myself out and find purpose and create confidence in myself and, that nurturing community. And I think once you get bit by that bug of pole community and all those like tiny moments of success that pole brings you, it really just like kind of consumes you as a person. So it did become a lot more to me than just a workout in the end, obviously. That's my pole journey.
I love it. Thank you for sharing that. I think that's true for a lot of polers too. Like it is really life changing. Once you get in that pole studio, you're like, this is me now.
Yeah, like this. Oh my God, what did I do before this? I have no other personality now. It's crazy.
Oh, but you're right though. There's not like for gymnastics for adults.
It's hard. I know there's like some adult classes, and obviously there's circus schools and everything. But I don't know. Like I think pole was just something that drew me in more than I do aerials now. I do silks here and all that other fun stuff. You can't keep me on the ground, but pole will always be my love, and I think there's just something about it that create the different aspects. Like you can be sexy, you can just dance if you don't feel like going up the pole that day. It's harder to just dance with silks. So so I think that there's a lot of different aspects to it that gives it kind of like a broader net of happiness for me.
Yeah.
Love that. So now that you've tried other aerial arts, what would be your second after pole, your second favorite?
Well, as like a teacher and a discipline that I practice most often after pole, it's silks. But in terms of which one I actually would like to be more involved in, I think Lyra, just because Lyra is so different than pole in the fact that you get to like chill in some poses. Like in pole, I always say you are squeezing all your muscles all the time. Like there's no resting moments in pole. Whereas like Lyra, you can literally just sit in the hoop and you're like, yeah, this is a moment. I'm making a shave. And that's awesome. I love that about it. It's a little bit less exhausting in that way.
Yes, I agree. I feel like any type of like aerial you try, it's like a gateway drug to the other stuff. Like eventually you have to try what else is out there.
I just started trying straps this year. Yeah, I'll dabble in anything, I guess.
Oh my gosh, the straps seem so hardcore. I can't even like hold myself up for more than 2 minutes. And then I'm like, that's it. Done.
I'm very lucky with my gymnastics background. That definitely helped a lot with straps. But I'm gonna tell you, if you're gonna start straps, you got to get that athletic tape around your wrist because I have scars from like the 3 times I did. No joke. Those straps are no joke.
Good to
OMG.
know.
Yeah. Or bring
Good to
like
know.
the cuff of a sock or something.
Yeah. Right, you're right, because it does like squeeze my hand. I'm like, why is it like this? So maybe I'll have more than 2 minutes.
Yeah, exactly.
I
It's
have
more like the skin burn that actually like does it. I
Oh
was
my
fine to
gosh.
keep going, but I was like just actively losing layers of skin.
Oh my
that is
gosh. No. I definitely need to find a teacher too. I'm just like dabbling by myself, like really dangerous. Don't do that at home, everyone.
Yeah. Don't try this at home. Get a trusted professional to teach you proper technique from the start.
Yes. Oh, well, what would you say for pole dancing is your favorite style?
I'm definitely a trickster. I am love, it's thin pole splitty moves. Just let me hold my legs open and go in a circle so that people can ooh and ah at my flexibility. That's all I want. I think that my favorite to watch though is probably that like hard style heels, like really RX type amazingness that you see more in like Eastern Europe. And I mean, I'd love to be able to move like that, but my knees hurt watching it. So absolutely, probably not for me. I'll just stay in the air for a little bit.
Oh my gosh.
I love it. It is very I love that kind of like sexy heels exotic.
Yeah, it like when it's like really intense, they pick some sort of like badass, like I don't know, German song or something, and you're like, oh, you're hitting all those beats with your knees. But it's so good. They're so good. It's amazing to watch.
It is some of those tricks. I'm like, they don't even teach those in certifications. How do you learn this?
I don't know. Yeah, some of those things I've like, yeah, I'll try that, and I'll go try it. Like, oh my God, absolutely not.
Exactly. So, one day. So, you mentioned to us that you've been in the Boston area and that you've been at PSO. Have you competed a lot? And what was your favorite competition?
I don't know if competed a lot's the right word. I've competed twice. I did 2017 level 2 entertainment was my first one, came in second. And then in 2018 I did championship level 3, and that's actually one of my favorite moments in my whole career because it was just a routine that I felt so passionate about. I had so much fun. I think that's where I really found my style is more like showgirly. It was a Moulin Rouge routine, came in first, and like and just the energy of the stage was so awesome for me. So that's my experience as a competitor. I tried to compete in 2019 and aimed high and injured myself training. So that one didn't play out for me. And then COVID happened. Um, and then again, I dropped last year actually because I was going for level 5 championship. And again, it just didn't work out for me training wise. And then I ended up getting COVID in like October, and it was not my year. In a lot of ways, it wasn't my year. But I've saved that routine, and I will be bringing it, hopefully, fingers crossed, knock on wood, just like kiss your grandma and sage the earth. I will be bringing it to PSO in November this year for level 5 artistic. I've been working on it for 2 years to make it everything that I want to, because like this is like the routine for me. So that's my experience with competing there. And when I had to drop from competing, I judged instead. So I've judged a couple of PSOs. So again, 2000, nope. So 20, what was the last one? 22 and 21, I judged. And then I used to coach. I don't coach when I'm competing. And I don't know if I ever want to coach again. But that's another rant for another day. I will definitely give feedback to people, but I don't know if I want to be making routines and all stuff like the whole season with like 11 people. It's a lot.
It is a lot. I thank you for that honesty.
It's a lot.
It is.
I'll tell you if
Right.
something looks stupid, but like I'm not gonna. I don't know. For me, I think that PSO is very subjective, and it's really hard for me to coach somebody believing that I'm building them and working with them. Someone else just not appreciate it, even though they did the best they could. So for me, I think it's unless it's a competition with a little bit more stringent judging system, I probably wouldn't coach it that serious way again.
I understand.
Mhm.
So this piece you're coming out with 2 years, that is incredible. I want to ask the side question that we didn't send you. How did you stay motivated to work on that piece for 2 years? Because I get bored working on a piece, the same music after like 3 months.
So for me, like I said, like I found my style. And this song doesn't get old to me because it's my style. The movements don't get old to me. The song still pumps me up to this day. Like it means a lot to me to be able to put this together and create the piece that I have in my head. Like I have this huge image in my head of how this piece makes me feel. And if I can bring that to the stage and make other people feel that with me, then like that's going to be one of the best moments of my life. And that's what keeps me motivated. Also, so I'm a teacher now. I'm a full teacher. I've been a full teacher for a long time. And I have a lot of full friends in the Boston community and a lot of great full students. But because of the way COVID happened, I feel like all the people who knew me back when I was competing in like 2018 and doing like when I had my first moment of like, this is amazing for me on stage, none of them knew me. So a lot of them probably haven't even seen that routine. And so if I can bring this new version of this amazing piece to stage and have the people that know me now and care about me now be a part of that and be able to see that, I think that is really, really important to me. So that's also why I won't do anything but Northeast, because like I don't really care if people in Pennsylvania see me compete. I only care if the people like here.
I love that. Thank you for sharing that honesty and that advice too on staying motivated, working on such a piece for so long.
Yeah. I think that it's hard to perform when you're just doing it to do it, right? So when I pick performance pieces, I pick ones that truly mean something to me. And that, like, I always tell people, you got to find yourself a song that you can listen to on repeat for 6 months. And 6 months later, you're still going to be able to give every ounce of passion with that song on stage to people. Because if you wear out that passion within a month, you're going to get to the stage and it's going to be a chore for you. And that's going to be very obvious in your performance.
Right. I think a lot about that, like the authenticity of your performance. Like that's really what it is all about. We don't want to see like robots on stage.
Yeah. Like I don't want you to song just because somebody told you this would be a good song to pull to. Like, does this song make you want to move? Can you hear the moves in the music? You know, that's what I think. That's what makes a really great performance.
Yeah. Well, listening to you talk about your training and your performance like is giving me goosebumps. So I know you're gonna do an amazing job of getting that point across on that stage. So I just can't wait to see that. Yeah.
I know. I hope it all goes well and you could go.
I know, right? I'm like seriously, like nobody breathe on me for like the next 2 months.
Right? It's always a gamble. Like as soon as you're like, okay, I'm doing this thing, you're like, okay, now I'm in a bubble. Nothing.
I'm in a bubble. Like I'm not going out and doing anything crazy. I'm going
not
to
learning
PT
anything new
every other week. Yeah, like nothing new. Nobody touch me.
Yeah, that's it.
Pretty much. I literally feel like I'm like, okay, we're in that crunch zone because we're like 2 months out, and I'm just like,
Mhm.
don't fuck this up again. So help me God. You are 31 years old, woman. You don't have a lot of opportunities to make this work.
Yeah. Do you want to
I
share
don't
a
mean to
bit of
I don't mean to say that like 31 is old, but like I'm a former gymnast, so my joints are pretty old. Um,
understandable?
yeah.
Well, do you want to share a bit of your like training regimen? Like how many hours a day or weeks during the week?
So I think this goes actually is a part of the reason why I opened my studio, which just in the nutshell is just an open training space. So my coach lives an hour away, and I'm also more of an advanced pole dancer. So going for level 5, right? And it can be really hard to find um, advanced classes or studio time like at this level that would you could just use to work on your piece or work on like really intense like your moves that you're not going to teach a class, right? um so for me, I was doing private lessons to just drill in like the tricks I needed, all these advanced things, and work on my routine. But an hour away is really hard to do, and when that's kind of the only studio time you have, I think that's part of the reason why it didn't work out for me. Also, last time I tried to compete, it just wasn't enough time. So I decided that this is my year and I'm going to do it. And if that means I have to open my own goddamn studio so I don't have to train at 7 in the morning or 11 o'clock at night to go around other classes. I mean, I work a regular like 9 to 6 job, so I can't go during the day. I need to be practicing at 7 p.m. when classes are going on at other studios. So I said, fuck it, I'm just going to open my own practice space. like, so my poles are 8 feet apart from everything on all sides. They're 13 feet tall, and it's the perfect kind of competition training space to hone in on your spacing and everything. And so now that I have that, I don't have to put all of the pressure of having a good practice day on those like 2 hours that I had before a week. I can be here almost every day. Maybe it's just an hour and I just work on one pass and try to like drill that pass in. And then maybe on the weekends I do, or like a day when my body's feeling awesome, I'll do more, try to like run a routine together and piecing things more together and checking my endurance. But I usually train maybe like 5 days a week for an hour or two, usually closer to two, because I do like a 25-minute warm up. I'm pretty stringent on it. Takes me a while to warm up my body, but and I also cross train with rowing now, which is that like kind of boat situation. Because the hardest part for me about competition has always been stamina to like get through a 4-minute routine when you're doing trick, 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 and you're trying to remind yourself to breathe through those tricks. So definitely trying to counterbalance or cross train with a little bit of cardio to help me with that stamina. So that's kind of how my training goes now. It wasn't always like that. This is definitely new since I got a studio, but it's definitely I can see the benefits of having these hour slots already.
I love the fact that you brought up cross training. This is the first we've heard rowing. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I used to do like just the gym, and I would run on the treadmill, and I would play my song, like the full version, not the cut version, 2 times through, and then I would jump bump it up to like 3. And it's like, well, if you can do that, then like you can get through your routine. It's not the same. So this year I'm trying rowing, and because it's like legs, body, arms, it's cardio, you're actively working your muscles while you do it. I'm really hoping I can already see some of the benefits of my endurance on.
I love it. Thank you for sharing that regimen with us. So you mentioned you had to open your own space.
Yep, and that's not a shot to other studios.
And oh, of course, not at all. And you
I know
mentioned
it makes sense though, because if you sorry. No,
boy.
you mentioned you had to practice while the classes were on, and like I totally feel that.
Exactly. Oh, an hour away, I'd probably do the same damn thing.
Yeah, so Chris, you were gonna say it. I opened my studio. What was the
Yes, you
rest of the
started
thought? Yeah.
describing it a little. I want to ask for a tour.
Yes. Okay. Sorry, block the thing because I don't know how anything works. Okay. So this is my big pink wall with my logo on it. It's kind of like the signature of it on Instagram. And then I don't know how to do this in the card. I have
Yes.
3 poles. So I've got 2 that are chrome for competition training, and then I have one on the end there that's stainless steel for our friends with a nickel allergy that can't really use chrome plated poles.
Mhm.
Kind of got some old mill windows and some mirrors.
Yes.
Uh, I have pretty much everything you can need. There's spray bottles, first aid kit, and cloth and everything in the corner when you walk in. And then there's like the speaker, chargers, yoga mat, yoga blocks, uplighting, whatever, kind of over in the other corner. But there's crash mats, there's a ladder that you shouldn't use. And I'm holding a lot of my props here right now. So, um, but it's kind of a great size for just coming to pole jam or do your competition training. The purpose of the studio, like I said, was for me to have a practice space that's available when I need it. I'm also a teacher, I mentioned, so it was also helpful for me doing private lessons. And I have opened that up to other people who want to teach private lessons on their own schedule as well. You just have to be insured. So, if which I can direct people if they're interested into getting insurance, and then all you do is kind of just reserve the time on the studio. You don't have to message me once I have the insurance. It's super easy. It's like a Calendly app, and you just block your time and you're good to go. I'll send you the lockbox code. You don't even have to really interact with me. So it's a very fun space to just come and enjoy pole for yourself or to create, or if you're trying to get your students into private lessons stuff that aren't, again, around classes, which can be really
OMG. It's gorgeous. Congratulations. That's so exciting.
difficult. Yeah.
Truly so exciting. OMG. Can you tell people where it is so they can locate?
Yes. Yeah, that'd be really helpful. So I am located in Everett, Mass, which is just outside of Boston. It's like a city north of Boston. If you're a Massachusetts person and you ever heard about the Encore Casino, you're right up the street from that.
Yes.
So, and there's parking here. So,
So thank you.
That's
And
awesome.
we'll provide all the links you give us for people looking to sign up, anything at all.
yeah.
God, that studio is gorgeous. Flexi Squirrel is now a studio. I love that you open it just because you needed a space, and now you found a way, and you're working on finding more ways to make it work for you and your needs while working a muggle job.
Yeah.
It's inspiring. I feel like other people need to see that they can do it too, and they can make it their own, however the hell they want.
Yes. I mean, I'm gonna say I'm very lucky. Like I do have a very successful muggle job. I'm pretty high up in finance at my company. So I had kind of this, well, it was for a house, but the housing market's crap. So I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna open studio instead. And then I also have my partner, my boyfriend, who really helped me. I mean, I could not reach the ceilings to take the drop ceiling out, but he could. So we were in here like we would both work our accounting jobs all day, and then we would come here for 2 or 3 hours at night and rip things out and set things up. So I am super thankful for him. He's really the backbone of like why we have this, because I'm a 5 foot tall. I mean, I'm strong, but I'm still 5 feet tall. So there's only so much I can really do.
I love it. Was it easy to find the space and the size ceilings that you wanted? And
So I wouldn't say it was like easy. I just got really, really lucky in a lot of ways. I I had my mental breakdown where I was like, I'm going to open a studio. And I just immediately went on the internet and looked for like commercial space in the area. And this literally was the only place that had the ceilings and the price range that was going to work for me. Being in the city is really difficult. And because I don't offer classes or like literally anything, I'm just like, hey, come rent my box. Uh, like there was no guaranteed income for me. So I just had to find a place that I knew like, okay, if nothing happens during the month, can I cover rent? And, do I love that? No, but could I do it because I need to train? Yes. And I almost didn't get this place because of some confusion with the game of telephone between the realtor and the landlord and everything. And then I went back and I was like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm not going to get it. I had already bought poles and everything. And so I started trying to like look for another place. There was nothing. There was nothing in the price range. There was nothing in the radius I was willing to go to. Because remember, this is for me. So I'm not really trying to like put it 30 minutes away. That doesn't help me. And then, and nothing with the ceiling height or like the setup. Like there's always like a pillar or something. I'm trying to competition space this, so that doesn't super work. So yeah, this was really the only one I found. And I'm super lucky that one of my students that I do private lessons with, she had been asking me to open a studio for years. So that again, so you didn't have to work around other studios for our scheduling. And her boyfriend knew the landlord. So pulled some strings. It ended up working out for me. I always say like this took a lot of hard work and a lot of luck. So
It was meant to be.
it was. And that was what I had to keep saying to myself over this is like, if it's meant to be, it will be. There's the if you build it, they will come, and then there's if it's meant to be, it'll be. Both of those things kind of had to be in my face the whole time. Otherwise, I think I would have had even more mental breakdowns.
Oh my gosh. But
sorry, go ahead, hon.
I was gonna say I really love the different outlook on like you don't have to make a regular studio at all. You can, make it whatever you wanted. There's no rules.
Yeah, there's no rules. I think that I'm very lucky that I am kind of I call myself like a phantom of the Boston pole community. Like a lot of people know who I am, but I may never have met them before. And that's not like, oh, I'm like so well known. It's just like the studios overlap a lot. And I have affiliations with like most studios or like in the fact that I've like worked there or that I've trained with people. I've taught some of the teachers or students there. So like I'm very lucky about the word of mouth has been able to make the studio just as successful as I need it to be. I don't need to be making $1 million. I just want to cover rent stuff. Like I'm not here for the money. That was never the intention of the space, right? It's my training place that means so much to me, and I want to share that with the community if it helps other people that are in the same position I was in. So I'm very lucky that word of mouth has been so awesome for me here. I can't guarantee that would work for everyone, but if it works for me.
Yeah. And you're also, you're providing a space for other, pole dancers to get more practice in, and we're all looking for that. So
yeah. And I think it's also really fun for people. Like I don't have crazy rates by any means. So if you wanted to like come and have like, your 3 best friends or something come pole jam with you so you can work on whatever, and just kind of vibe, you can do that here and you can do it at a reasonable hour. So
that is awesome. I love that. So now that you've gone through, because I'm sure you'll be going through a lot more different struggles, but now that you've gone through the initial process, what advice do you give to anybody else who might be feeling the same way you were feeling a year ago?
I guess the biggest advice I can give you is that you have to decide for yourself that you don't want to be a victim of circumstance. So for me, I was losing my mind because a lot of things were happening that were out of control, that were determining my whole journey and my future. And I said, enough is enough. I need to take control of my whole journey. Nobody cares about my whole journey more than I do. So what can I do to change course? This is not the first time I've had a course correct in my whole journey in order to progress. So, you know, it might take like a while before you actually get to that point. I mean, the first time before I course corrected, I think I was crying for like 6 months, just not knowing what to do. And then I finally, you know, sat down, said, this isn't working. Like, I want to be really good at this. And where I am isn't going to fulfill that. What are my options? What is the commitment that's going to require from me? Am I willing to do that commitment? Like my coach now, she's an hour away. That's not where I started, Cole. But that's where I ended up because I said, I need more from my pole journey. I need to learn from the best. The best person is an hour away. I never enjoy a Saturday again, so long as I live. But that's because I'm trying to be better at pole. And I got to drive an hour to get there. So, you know, I think that it's really what are you able to do to fix your situation? What are you willing to do to fix your situation? I'm lucky and I have a car. A lot of people don't have a car. So like they can't drive the hour. Do you have internet? Do you have a pole at home? Could you come to my studio to do online classes if that's what makes you feel better? It's that type of like weighing out your options, just sitting down and really thinking, okay, this doesn't suit me. How do I get back on track to, you know, moving forward with where I want to be?
Thank you for that honest advice. I love how you mentioned not being a victim of circumstance. Because nothing lasts forever. Everything is constantly changing, and you got to make sure you don't get stuck to, live your fulfilled life. I love it.
Yeah, what worked for me, you know, 4 years ago, just things changed and they don't work anymore. So here I am.
Yes, Flying Squirrel Studios.
Right. I'm curious about the name too. Can you share a little bit about the name?
Yeah, so like I said, my handle is Flexi Squirrel. So when I started pole and aerial and like it's kind of like baby at things, and I still do this now, honestly. But if a move is like uncomfy for me, it scares me, or if I'm trying to like bail out of something, I tend to like curl up into a ball and do this. So there'd be a lot of times where I'd be like upside down and I might just like hug myself into the pole upside down and I would do my little pause and I would just slide down the pole, tuck my head and end up on the floor. And then we all called it safety squirrel. So that's where the squirrel part comes from. So now I'm just squirrel. And I figured if I was going to have, you know, my own studio, I should kind of keep my brand of the squirrel and you're flying on your pole. So flying squirrel.
Yes, and flying squirrels are a gorgeous animal. They're too damn cute.
I'm big fan of tiny, adorable critters. So that also worked for me.
Yes. I'm also a fan of the squirrel descent. I've definitely done that.
Yes, I tell people all the time when they're like, you know, they're like falling, and I'm just like, tuck your head, safety squirrel. Oh my God.
Love it.
It's carried through pretty much my whole pole career. So it works.
Oh my gosh. Do you have regular hours of the studio? Can people like rent it in the middle of the night? Like, what's that like?
So generally speaking, I have the schedule, like the app schedule, so that you could do like 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. And you can only book like I think it cuts off the booking 2 hours before because I need time to like send you a waiver if you're new and get that back, or, you know, see that you booked and send you the lockbox code type thing. It's very manual because this is like just me doing a thing. I don't have like a lot of technology behind it. So it is very much like me running everything. So if you did like, oh, like I really wanted to book it at the studio at 6 and it's 5, so I can't book it on the system. Is it booked? No, you can use it. I'll send you the code as long as you're somebody who has a waiver filled out. And then I can add you into the system myself. If you really were like, oh, the studio only goes till booking till 10, but I really need a midnight pole session. Like you could message me. I don't sleep, so I probably see it. And I could change the system to do that booking for you. So it's very personal. Like this isn't a big conglomerate franchise thing. Like this is just me in a studio in an empty box. And I'm very willing to like work with people. That's the point of the space, right? Is to give you what you need. So as long as you're respectful of my space, then everything's good. Anything can be done if you just ask. The worst thing that happens is I miss your message or I just say no. But it's always worth it to ask, I feel, and that's just in life. What's the worst that happens? I say no.
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh, okay, I guess I won't do this thing I already wasn't planning on doing necessarily.
Yeah. And then everyone just needs to have, you said insurance, and you provide like a way for people to get insurance.
So yeah, so if you want to teach here, so like I have heels and burlesque teachers come in sometimes, or if you're like a pole instructor that needs a space to do pole privates or anything like that. Yes, if you just need insurance because my studio insurance won't cover it and you're like not an employee or anything. And pole is very dangerous, so I just have no tolerance for taking that kind of risk. But if you are interested in doing that, I can direct you to several companies I know that do insure pole instructors in the industry. So super, super easy, actually.
And then for just regular people, can they rent the space? And then is there someone there for safety or?
No. So regular people can just come and pole jam. Like I said, I just send you a lockbox code and the space is yours. I don't need to be here. So that's why it can be all hours. I have 360 cameras. So if anything were to happen, I can see it. So if you, like, I would know if you didn't leave after your hour. So if you were like dead on the floor, I'd be like, what's that about? And then I'd be like, oh my God, they're dead on the floor. So, but you're not going to be dead on the floor. I have crash mats and everything. And I just ask that people who use the space practice responsibly, like you're not trying dangerous things that you have not done with an instructor before, that you're not super comfortable with. I'm not going to make some stupid rule that's like, you can't go upside down if I'm not there, because that literally doesn't make any sense. But do what's safe for you and your body, take precautions, use crash mats with me when needed. I just ask people to be smart, I guess, which is not always, we can't always guarantee that everyone's going to be smart, but we just really hope.
Right. I think the cameras are key. That's a good idea for sure. Yeah.
Yes. So, and then, and I usually I don't watch you the whole time. I'll like make sure that everything's set up and then just make sure that you get out on time and that you're good. But I don't watch your practice. I have a life. So
Right. I always wondered because like at our studio we have someone there for safety, but it is a nice little intimate space to be nice to be there by yourself. Like,
I don't think people like always want someone there. Like I know personally, my training, especially if I'm like competition training, right? And I'm like trying to hone in on these skills, it's gonna make me more nervous that somebody else is there watching me do something that I may not be that good at, and I'll probably be worse at it. Whereas if I can just, be by myself and do whatever I need to do without feeling like, oh, somebody's like, why is she doing that? Or like, wow, she totally shouldn't be doing that. Like there's no judgment when it's just you, or like maybe it's your friends. So again, just be smart about what you do and and everything should be okay, you know?
So I think that's awesome too, because I think my personal pole practice really changed after I got a studio because I was able to practice on my own. Because some people really do, have to focus and they can't have external stuff going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
So it's
I think
awesome
if
that you
I
have that
was,
space.
I think if I was in studio too, like people, like the other thing is like people like to ask questions. And I'm like, I'm not in teacher mode right now.
Yeah.
So I don't really want to do, I do like I'll hold small group classes if that's what I
Mm.
wanted to, and workshops if that's the mode I want to be in. But I rather just give people the space to, like you said, do what they need to do to feel comfortable. I know a lot of people that use the space now frequently, they really like the alone time. They really like to just be able to flow and freestyle and find their own, style of pole, without any other like inhibitions, I guess, around it.
That sounds fun. I can definitely understand the difference between being alone. I was trying to think about it as we were talking about it. It is a very different environment.
Right. Everyone does have different ways they learn. Yeah. I didn't even know that about myself either. Like I was able to find, like you said, my pole style, but just by practicing by myself. I think that's really cool that you have that space that allows that. Right. I wish we could give that at our studio, but I don't really want to get cameras.
Yeah, well, I don't pay for an instructor, so I guess I can pay for cameras.
Yeah, they're necessary for sure.
So I'm gonna ask my favorite question.
Okay.
What is I guess it's a twofer. What is your favorite pole trick and I guess your pole nemesis?
Okay. So I don't know if I necessarily have a favorite pole trick. I have moves that I do a lot that are like my go-to moves when performing. I love Jalegra. I think that's a really fun one to perform because I am backside and split bendy. But it doesn't put the same strain on my body as a bird of paradise. So Jalegra for me, that's kind of one of my golden ticket moves. I also love that like inverted Lula Bella, that whatever that elbow one is. I don't know how to say that word, but and like Gennaro, I go into a lot. I like a lot of moves that are that behind the back elbow. That's like a really comfy spot for me. It's great. Weird. My least favorite is Marion Amber. I hate butterfly moves so much. And then that's just like a trapped butterfly. And for some reason, I find that move to be so hard for what it is. And I feel like it shouldn't be this hard, but it is so hard. So I don't like that at all.
You're right. I haven't tried that one in years because it is fucking hard.
It's so hard. And I like once a year, someone will request it in class and I just like give them the evil eye. And I'm like, why do you hate me? Like, you're not going to enjoy this either.
You said Marion Amber?
Yeah.
I have never heard that.
It's literally a butterfly like split. But instead of your hand being below your knee, it's above it. So it's trapping the leg, and that's how you can like slide out into the split. It's so hard. It's so hard to get your ass up. So like if you're trying it from a jazz, like I can't do it from a jazz. Forget about it. My ass, I have a big butt, and that thing is not going up. So I have to do it from Cupid. I got to do it in cup grip. Anything else is just going to be epic failure for me.
That is lovely. Oh, check that out, Marion. I also love the elbow behind the back as well. I'm not sure why. It is
I
comfortable.
don't know. I could like live in Pegasus and stuff. Like I'm just like, oh, this is where I live now.
No. Not me. I'm like, there's stuff going on back there.
It's weird. I feel like like when you put it behind, like the elbow feels more secure than when you do the elbow in front. It's really weird.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. But I just like really like elbow grip. I know like a lot of people don't love that. but you don't love it because you probably don't do it. I have a lot of arm meat, so I always like, I consider it like grabbing the pole with like this chunky arm meat, and for me it's like whatever.
Love it. That's too funny. We did elbow grip today in level 3 and 4.
Yeah, Chris
Oh,
pulverized
great.
her elbows
I would have
today.
loved that class.
Got to touch a whole bunch of different stuff.
Right. It was a lot, yeah. But you mentioned that you were backside and front flexi, and how is that possible? How much flexibility training do you do? Are you
So,
naturally flexible? Tell us
yes,
your secrets.
I'm naturally flexible, and like I said, I used to be a gymnast and a dancer. So I started my flexibility journey when I was like 3. Um, so when I was younger, like I said, I wasn't necessarily like a good dancer or a good gymnast, but I had natural flexibility. So all my free time at home, I would be stretching, and it was all passive stretching because I was a child and they don't teach you anything about active flexibility. You don't know, but like it was my goal to be a donut when I was younger. Like literally, I was like, "Look, mom," and these are like my toes, and I'd be like picking my nose with my toes. Not great when you're like doing it as like a kid. I mean, it's fine because you're like dumpy, like nothing's formed, but like that doesn't work so well as an adult. You have to actually know how your skeleton works later in life. But and like I would watch TV in middle splits. So I created a base for my range of motion with all this like passive work when I was younger. That has made it really stick as an adult. I mean, I obviously stopped doing those things for a few years, and it regressed a little bit, but like I always made flexibility like something I never wanted to lose. So I've been doing flexibility my entire life. During COVID, I found Carly Jane started doing online flexibility classes, and from there, my knowledge of flexibility and the amount of like exercises I got exposed to and how to properly do things, and like feel the engagement in right places during active flexibility really took off. And so my, flexibility journey got so much more intense with that. And I've been able to achieve a lot more through her classes. So it is a lot of gift, natural gift, and then constant work with an educated coach.
I will note this for my next life. Start
Yes,
at
you should.
3.
I tell yeah, start at 3. But I tell everyone who like really struggles with flexibility, like it doesn't always have to be these like really intense hour or two. Like you, first of all, don't do 2 hours of flexibility training. It's kind of insane, honestly. Of like active flexibility. And I think active is very prominent in the industry right now, but we can't forget about passive because you're just going to like wear out your muscles to the point where they start retracting your flexibility. The more you do this like constant active flexibility, you have to build the range of motion in a safe way first too. So I'm a big proponent of training both. And if that means you just like sit in a straddle and kind of like roll around, roll your hips in and out while you're watching TV, or like just do like a really relaxed pike fold, do your downward dog every day, just something that's going to kind of like stretch out the muscles. I think that's a lot more beneficial than trying to jam in really intense stretching 5 times a week. I think your body would probably hate that depending how old you are, like if and how much recovery you don't do, like you could really end up regressing in your flexibility journey. So just remember to train both and don't overdo it.
No, thank you for that advice. And also, I appreciated how you were like in your straddle, like, because I always think of passive stretching as like, like here I am for 5 hours, but rolling in and out of it kind of seems like you would be playing. So if you think of it
Yeah.
more as like play, maybe I'll do it.
Yeah, it's honestly like for me, like wiggling my body on my off days just feels a lot better. Like if I'm not gonna do a lot of super flexy tricks, I just kind of wiggle through the stretching as opposed to holding and really tightening everything up, just kind of making sure my joints feel like they want to move and it's gonna be safe for me to do things. I don't need to be doing a jade split every day, so I don't need to be actively pulling my splits every day. But I do want my hips to be open and ready for when I gotta do a stretch back.
Yes. Right. And love that you're balanced because like I'm definitely a splitter and not a back bender. So I'm trying to switch gears. But also I guess I should still do everything too.
Yeah, I mean, I actually don't do active split stretching in the same way I do back bending anymore. I have I have bursitis on my right knee, and I have a really wonky left hip that kind of took me out of the game for a while. So an hour of split stretching is really terrible on my body. So a lot of the stretches that you do, like you have to put your knee on the ground or something, or like it might just feel really bad on my hip to be holding something that long. So I don't do really structured split stretching anymore, but that's because I'm lucky. I have a good base, and I feel like that base is far enough. I don't really need intense over splits at this point in my life. So, you know, I'm flexy enough. So I'm flexy enough to pass, and if it's gonna irritate my body, then it's not worth it, right? So that's what I think. That's how I also got a little bit more into like the rolling around and just being a little bit more gentle on myself, was because I can't hold the same expectations that I used to, or that I can on other parts of my body.
Yeah. Thank you for that reminder. Right. And everyone should always listen to their own personal body because everyone's different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's going to change as we get older.
That's right. I mean, I didn't always have a bursitis in my right knee, and now I do. And now my left split does not want to go flat because that means pressure on that knee. It just is what it is.
That's okay. But that's okay.
Fine. I will just do split moves on my right.
Yes.
Too
The
funny.
pizza split. It's fine.
Actually, I like can't even do that because if the knee is on the ground at like all, the pressure point hurts. So I have to like hold myself up in like this almost flat split. I'm just like, no, don't touch the ground. Yeah. So I mean, just like, but again, it's like that's everybody's got these weird body quirks, and you just kind of adjust as we go.
Yeah. Yeah. Good thing there's so many tricks.
There are a lot of tricks and illusions in pole, thank God.
Discovered.
Well, I know you don't offer online classes, but you mentioned that people can come and take online classes via your location.
Yes.
That's cool.
Yes. So we have internet. So you know, if you have, again, I'm going to plug like Carly Jane or Maggie Ann, who's my coach out in Worcester. They offer online classes, and or like any other, you know, if you want to take Aerial Alley, or we want to do something from, I think, Politica Movement or something, Natasha Wang's, any of those things, and you don't have like the height that you want or the space, or maybe you just don't have a home pole at all, you are welcome to walk the pole and take your class in studio. If there's somebody else in studio, I just ask that you wear headphones so that you're not like interrupting, but you have the pole, you have internet, you have a place to place your laptop. So yeah, that's another way that I use my studio. And I'm just going to plug that, like, if you do classes with Maggie or Carly, I do have special discounts for them because they're my moms. So I'm trying to make it more accessible for people to learn from them. So they get like bonus discount on the pole rental with those ones. And then I don't do regular classes, so there would be no online class option with me. But if people want to do privates online, I could do that, obviously.
And then you could also use the space to record, like for an online competition or showcase.
Absolutely, absolutely. Cool. If you were doing a submission video, you can rent the studio for that. You can rent the studio for photo shoots, which we've done also. And even non-pole things, like I said, we do heels. I'm trying to bring like Pilates and like all this other stuff in. It's literally just a room. So you can, you know, let whatever you need it for, if it suits your needs, then it's available for you.
Such a creative way to monetize it and keep it fresh and keep it open to all sorts like, because it is a business ultimately. So I
Yes,
love
yes, I do like being able to cover rent and not having.
that.
I this may sound terrible, but I always was like, I'm opening the studio to train, and I'm kind of hoping my friends will pay for it.
Too
But no, it's been great. It's been really
Yes.
good.
funny. Is there anything that you would like to promote coming up at the end of this year, or maybe 2024? Showcase anything
Yeah.
out of
So, I mean, in October we have actually, because I think we said this would come out by the end of September probably, but middle of October I have a bunch of stuff going on in the studio. I've got a burlesque workshop coming in. My one of my fellow performers, showgirls that we do shows in Boston together. She's coming to teach burlesque. She's one of the best burlesque dancers I've seen in Boston. Her name is Phoebe Flows. She's incredibly talented. And that's only $20. So like super good deal. That's October 13th, Friday the 13th. And then I have Maggie Ann is coming out. For people who don't know, because maybe you're babies, but Maggie Ann is one of the OG polers. She won PSO back in like 2015, like nationals. Again, she's my coach out in Worcester, and she is coming to the studio on October 14th to do PSO feedback sessions. So she's here from like 10 to 5. There's 30-minute sessions and that you can block where you would just run your routine as much as you have it, or like use that time to discuss with her. And she has PSO score sheets. She would judge you just like was a competition, give you feedback, and then kind of work with you on her suggestions for like what would make your score higher. Like if she was judging you, like what would she have liked to see? And I think that's incredibly valuable. She coached, the 2018 PSO Northeast champion Pole Grace. We remember her beautiful, beautiful piece. If you don't look it up, because you'll hear me screeching and ruining the whole video. But it's such an amazing piece. And then she also helped coach, I think it was 2006 or 17, Dashel Berry, also won PSO Northeast as like the pro division. So Maggie has a lot of experience at the high level, and all levels. Super, super pole OG. So to get that like feedback from her, I think would be super valuable. And if people don't want it for PSO stuff, she's also available for private lessons that day. So that's October 14th, Maggie Ann's coming out. And then October 18th, I have a heels workshop as well. If you're not into pole, but you want to just like dance and move, or maybe you're into pole and you're looking for another way to challenge your movement style. Her name is Kirsten Cobb, and she just did a workshop here the other week that I took. I've never done like heel dance before. It was so much fun. I loved the choreo. It felt really like sexy and obtainable, but really challenging at the same time. So I'm really looking forward to that one. And then obviously, like if we have PSO Northeast coming up in the middle of November, and this space was designed specifically with that in mind. So if you are needing a place to train leading up to competition, or do your private lessons with your coach, as long as they're insured, then which Gabby and Jamie Wong are both like very prominent PSO coaches in the area. And they're both insured. They're both allowed to teach here. So if you're looking for privates with them or me, or some sort of like feedback with them on your piece, any of us can do that, and it would be a little bit easier on your schedule. So, those are all my plugs.
I feel like you're going to be booked solid in the next coming months with the PSO.
It's definitely picking up a lot. Like I think I booked, well, I didn't book myself in the studio because I just like don't usually do that. But I booked Maggie's online class Wednesday, which is like around 6:15. And somebody booked my studio at 6, and I was like, I have to cancel. I'm being too successful. So I just went after, but it's just like funny that that like, oh man, I might actually have to start booking my own practice time at my studio.
The whole reason why you made the space.
I know. No, it's actually working out really well because if I have like if somebody books me for a private, that's an hour and then I'm already at the studio. So then I just stay and I do my training after that. And it's a really good way of like dragging my ass out to actually do it.
Yes.
That's how I stay motivated actually. Like, have somebody pay me to leave the house and then I'm already here.
Too
I feel that. I feel
I love it. That is too funny.
that. Oh,
So that's I think all I have for plugging in the immediate fall. We will probably do a small like I'd like to do a small performance showcase type thing in December or January. But I gotta, it's a small space, so I'd have to kind of like feel out who wants to come and what we want to see at that. It'll be about 6 months that the studio will be open by then. So I definitely want to celebrate how awesome the season went so far. So keep an eye out on Instagram for that because I'll probably do a poll for like what day works.
I love it. Awesome. We'll definitely make sure to share that too when you post it.
Thank you.
I think we have our other regular question we always ask is what kind of pole grip do you use?
So most of the time I don't use pole grip. I know. I think, and that's not like a weird flex. I think that I only use pole grip, which is like dry hands or babe grip usually. If I'm like super nervous, like if I'm in my head about something, that'll probably make my hands sweat. But for the most part, I don't use it. I really try to rely on my muscles and my grip strength to help me through. And for the most part, it does. We can't always control temperature and humidity though. So like knowing how your body reacts to different temperatures and humidity is super helpful. Like I know in the winter, I do need dew point on the back of my knees for a good brass monkey, or probably gonna eat shit and die because my skin will be super dry, the air will be cold and no humidity, and that's just not a great combination. But knowing how to manage your moisture levels also. I know they say no lotion before pole, but my trick, because of the way that my skin is to use a water-based lotion at night. And then by the time I'm training again, maybe like 12 or so hours later, that's kind of already gone, but I have like just enough moisture in my skin to not be an alligator. So that's a little like, I mean, obviously don't wear lotion to touch my poles, but like, find what works for you and your body. I have very sticky sweat, so humidity is really good for grip for me. It's not that way for everyone. So again, just like knowing the way that your body works against different temperatures and humidities is very helpful in finding your correct grip. No one size fits all.
Right? Thank you for sharing that. Everyone's so different. At first I was like, oh my gosh, what if we find people who don't use any grip?
It's me. I have bottles of dry hands from like 2017 because I was like asked for it for Christmas as a baby polar, and then I was like, oh shit, I actually don't really need this now. Like,
You could funny.
Old dance also teaching you about moisturizing.
yes, yes. It's like it's a science experiment with your own body.
Yes.
Whole is very science.
Yeah.
Physics, anatomy.
Physics, chemistry.
Physics, anatomy, chemistry, exactly.
Well, thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you would like to share with everyone listening or watching on YouTube?
I guess that something that I've been really telling myself lately. So I am notoriously really difficult on myself. I'm my own worst critic, and most people are, right? But I am like special breed of really mean to myself sometimes. And I think that comes with my very like perfectionist competitive mindset. So I've been actively trying to correct that. And with correcting that, I've seen amazing progress in my training by like not being down on myself when it's so easy to do that, right? Like it's so easy to not get something or not, or have to try to do a move that you did before and then it's not working for you today. It's so easy to like fall into a really bad mental state. So I'm trying actively to not do that. And one of my mantras, is that how you say it? I'm from Boston, so I'm like mantra. Mantras is that you are a version of yourself now that a former version of yourself would be in awe of. And you are not done, right? Like, even if you're having an amazing day today, you have more amazing days ahead. If you're having a bad day, you only know it's bad because you've had good days. So just always think about, you know, like, what would the version of you 3 years ago think of you now? I know I think about this all the time. I've had such an amazing pole journey and so many amazing opportunities, and I'm so blessed in so many ways with this sport that I think about who I was, you know, in the first few years of pole and like what I do now and all these things that I never thought were going to happen to me. And not even, I didn't even know I wanted these things to happen, but they did. And like, it's amazing. It truly is amazing. Everything you can do now is amazing. So never forget that and just try to be kind to yourself, because old you is like, this bitch the whole way through. So just do it for them, because they're so proud of
I
Thank you for
love
that beautiful advice.
we all as pole dancers, I feel like we can all be very hard on ourselves.
Mhm.
And it's so hard to remember that. So we have to hear it
Right?
you. I think there was a time in my life, like when I was a baby, I saw Bird of Paradise, and I was like, oh my God, that's the move. That would be like the move. And now I can do that like all the time. You know, like there was a version of me that literally didn't think it was possible. And then I worked hard and now I can, and I can do it. And that's the same with everybody. You know, at some point somebody looked at a pole class, I really want to do that, but I'm not strong enough. And now they go to pole 3 times a week. So like already just showing up, you are better than you ever thought you would be.
Mhm. Yes.
off.
I love
Exactly.
it.
Being patient and just showing up, like you said.
Yeah. Right. And everyone's their own unique wonder, and we all have our beauty to show.
Yeah, you may
And
not be looking at Bird of Paradise, but maybe it's like, oh, I couldn't invert, and then I finally got that, or I
yeah.
couldn't, you know, walk in heels, and now I
Yeah,
can.
right?
You know? So
Right?
it's these tiny things that you need to give yourself credit for, and just it's so easy to get swallowed up in social media and what you see out there that everyone else is doing, and thinking, oh, I should be like this or I should be like that. But you should just be you, and you should be really proud of everything you've done.
Right? We're always good enough.
You are
Yeah.
always good.
Pole dancers, we're all doing stuff people younger than us cannot do.
we're we're all like out here really just honestly just showing up is like people wish.
Yeah,
People wish they could. Okay.
it is too true. I love that.
I
Thank you so
love
much
it.
for being here with us. This was fun.
Yes.
Fun talking to you guys. I'm so glad I got to do this. So thank you again for having me.
For
Same.
sure. And I hope your studio idea inspires other people to open similar, because I think it's so cool and so necessary too. Like, way to listen to what we all need.
Yes, community. We're all in this for the community. So like we just need community spaces.
Yes.
Accessible community spaces. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so
Love
true.
it.
OMG. So yes, we'll have all the links you provide us below in the comments and the notes. We'll also have your bio. Um, Goodness, I can't wait. I hope, no, not I hope. It's just a matter of time. I can't wait till we meet in person and hopefully
Yes.
dance.
Yes. If I don't get you guys to come out to the studio beforehand, I hope to see you at PSO North.
Yes.
Yes.
Right. We'll definitely make it work.
Yes, you'll probably end up seeing me at your studio before PS. I don't know, before November, but I don't think I'm.
I was gonna say, I was like, oh my, like you think that, but if you look at the calendar, it's getting scurry out here with how close it is.
I don't think I'm doing going to PSO this year because I think I have something else going on.
Oh yeah, you're doing. Aren't you like judging some awesome stuff or something coming
Yeah,
up?
full circus.
Yes, I did see that. That's so awesome. Congratulations. I love that for you. Amazing.
Thank you. We're so excited. Um, OMG, flying squirrels. I love it. It is gorgeous. We have to make our way out there, Mændy.
Yes, for sure. Especially for those workshops for Maggie. And she was the first one that taught me my most favorite transition from the sit to the inside leg hook.
Yes, awesome. Yeah, no, so I think so she is my pole mom, and she's actually a huge reason why I opened this, not only because it was hard to get out to her, but she helped me in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
She guided me through getting insurance, through finding a space and everything. She really, really helped me do this. And because of that, she's actually trying to come out a little bit more often. So I think for you guys, it would be closer to just go see her in Whistler.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
But
I should go out there too. I gotta get out more.
logistically, that makes sense. But I am trying to get her out here like once a month because she is truly I consider her the best pole dancer in Massachusetts, and I know that a lot of people in the Boston area don't have the means to get out to her in Worcester like I do, because it's not like not everyone has a car here. So if I can bring her in, I feel like I'm giving, I'm over here just like, this is my mom, come train with my mom.
Yes.
Hi, my mom's here. So whenever I'm a teacher, I'm always like, go learn from me. So
Yeah.
don't bother learning from me, just go learn from Maggie. So yeah, the more that I get her out here and the more people that I can, get her to help, I feel like that just strengthens the pole community, because she really is such like a resource to have as a pole student.
Yeah. Right. I think too at her studio, the classes are not drop-in, so it's harder to.
Yeah, I think the online ones are drop-in. So if you do yes, so you can definitely do that. There are certain ones that are, I think like some of like the chair and other stuff is drop-in.
Okay.
And she does have like packs, so it's not all membership. I think she's got like a 10 pack that's good for like 3 months.
Okay.
Yes, so she does have options. That's Paradigm Pole Fitness. So we just plug another studio, whatever.
Right? Yeah.
But my trick, because I live far away, my trick with her has always been to like take a class or two, and then her studio actually ends a little bit earlier. So then I would like take a private after that. If I can like stack like taking the like level 2 free class and then stay. If there's nothing after that, I can stay and take the private with her, and then it's really
Make it worth
trip.
it.
So
Yeah.
or just book a 2-hour private like a psychopath like I do. So.
No big deal.
So yeah, these are like my tricks and tips on how to like train with the best when it's not in your backyard.
I'm
I love it.
because I was just thinking about that because I just started Lyra, but it's like an hour away. I was like, how? I don't want to drive an hour back and forth for 1 hour. It's just not worth it.
It's hard. It's really hard to justify. I'm totally get that. I've been living that life. So it is hard to justify the drive. So you really have to like pack it in. And if you have the stamina to do like a couple classes back to back, or do a class in a private back to back, whatever the schedule allows, like you can make it worth it. Again, this is that thing for me back in the day when I had to make the decision if I was going to be driving out to Maggie all the time. It's like, can I make it work with my schedule? How do I make it work? how do I make it worth it? And is that a commitment I'm willing to make consistently? Because again, it's the big ask. That's a lot of miles on the car.
Yeah.
Yes,
So
You know, for me, it was always worth it.
there needs to be more studios. So everyone that's listening,
Everyone that's
so we don't have to
listening,
drive everywhere.
don't buy a house. Just take anything you thought about with your really responsible future and throw it
Cash
into
out
a
your
studio and hope
retirement.
for the best.
funny.
So we don't have to drive anymore.
Yes, exactly.
Too funny.
Oh my gosh. Now I'm just getting ridiculous.
I love how we went on another tangent and another question.
I know.
I know. We can't help it. There's just so much to talk about with Cole because I mean, we've all been in it for so long, and it like you own a studio too, so it really truly becomes all consuming. Like there are times when I'm tired of Cole being my personality, and like people will hit me up to talk Cole all the time, and I'm just like, I am more than this. I have a puppy, and like I'm a CPA. Like I am more than Cole. Like stop talking to me about Cole. But at the same time, it's like, well, yeah, I mean, I did make this my fucking life. And like, I don't know, I could probably talk about accounting for 5 minutes, but I could probably talk about Cole for 5 hours. So
Oh my
it is what
gosh.
it is. It's hard. But
Right.
when you're this deep, you know.
Yeah.
It was so fun to talk to you and virtually meet you. I can't wait to dance with you in person.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it'll be fun. It'll be so much fun. We'll definitely have to figure that out. I know. I think I know Ariel Alley comes out to Western Mass sometimes for the other studio out there. You guys should get her.
Yeah.
She's a friend of mine as well, and I want to like get her to come up and do like a day of privates up here.
Hell yeah.
I'm just trying to steal everyone for private lessons because I don't want to drive for them.
I feel that so hard. Yes. That's a good idea.
Yeah, but if you get her first because she's actually like in Western Mass more, I will definitely make that trip.
Cool. We'll have to figure that out. I'm in a workshop abyss right now, so I'll have to figure that out.
Yeah, aren't you coming to Fly Together?
Oh yeah, I just went
Or New Watertown
last weekend. Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking. Yep. How was that? Welcome to
It
Boston.
was so much fun. The studio is so beautiful and the poles are so tall. And I had this idea that I was going to climb to the top and do a jade, but then when I got up there, I got too scared.
How tall are the poles at their new studio?
I've never been that high before.
Yeah, that's high.
Too funny.
Well, I guess I think we did all of the questions.
And then some.
Yeah,
Yes.
and then we went on 14 tangents, so at least.
Oh my
You
god.
guys are gonna have a lot of cutting and editing to do.
We don't edit anything. This
No!
is all going.
Unless you say
Yeah, unless you wanted to.
No, it's fine. Hopefully this is who I am as a person. So
exactly.
what are you gonna do?
Oh yeah. No, you're super awesome, super inspiring. And yeah, I think that this idea for studio is awesome. And yeah, right. I think other people will definitely take on too.
Yes.
Yeah, and if you're trying to come out to Boston for the day and teach privates, hit me up so we can coordinate that.
Yeah. So cool.
I'm thinking about it. I have to get a client who wants to take a private with me out there.
Yeah. Well, it's you guys are pretty well known, right? Like if you've done workshops and if you've done work, I've seen your names to come to do workshops. And so like if you're doing workshops, then people probably want to learn from you. They probably want to take privates. And the thing about my studio is like you set the rate, right? Like this is your private rate. You just have to cover the studio costs on top of that, and then you can do it whatever you want. So if, like they say, build it, you will come. You guys have built your empire. You've been around for a long time. You are well known. And if there are students that want to do it, they'll do it.
That'd be cool. We could be big in Boston.
Definitely. You boosted my ego a little.
I haven't done workshops, so you guys have that above me.
Oh, I really just made a thing and sent it out, and a few people said yes. So it was cool.
If you ever change your mind, you gotta let us know.
Yeah.
It's not that I won't do workshops. It's just that I don't know what I would do. I'm like, I don't know. I'm like really good at the splits. Does anyone want to do an hour of the splits? No, you don't. So weird.
Maybe like there's a lack of that professional training to learn the crazy tricks. Maybe you can make a workshop specializing in that. Because not many people out here are teaching spatchcocks, Gillette, all that good stuff.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely, you want to learn splits and splitty moves, I'm probably the person to go to. So that'll probably be if someday I do workshops, I might just do like split and spready.
Yes.
Wow.
You can make your workshop menu be all like squirrel themed. There could be like acorn references somehow.
This is going to come out too late for it, but Saturday I'm doing a squirrel themed burlesque show. I don't do, it's like a burlesque and drag show, and I don't do either of those things. But I was like, I have to be in this show. And she was like, I don't have for a pole. And I was like, I will teach myself a whole nother just so I can be in this show. So that's what I did. So I will be doing my first, non-pole acrobatic swirly act this weekend, just for the sole purpose that it's squirrel themed.
And then the workshops began.
Yes, and then squirrely splits.
Love it. I would definitely take that.
Yes, have fun. So fun.
So, yeah.
Oh
Wait, can I ask you guys a question?
Yeah.
Speaking of names, if you were to find yourself inventing a pole move, what would you name your pole move?
Yeah, it would depend on the move, I guess. Like what it looked like. I don't think I would ever name something after myself.
Facts.
Because it would be confusing.
Wait, you could call it the Mac Daddy.
I love it.
And then be like, kind
of like trace back to me, but not really.
Yeah.
Too funny.
Exactly.
I would want my name to be like something like, I'm afraid to try that. Maybe like Nemesis.
PD Nemesis. Take a whole new meaning.
What kind of trick
I feel like that's like,
of?
Yeah, that's just like everything that like Caleb does. Because he doesn't have bones. So
it's like what? What?
Yeah, I watch those and I go, never in a million.
Not
Nemesis.
Did you make up a new trick and you were trying to think of a name for it?
Oh my God, no. No. I'm not really like the creative pole dancer yet. Like I haven't reached that part of my journey. I think that comes later when you're, done competing and done putting a lot of pressure on and you just kind of like flow for you. I don't think I've reached that, but like you definitely see it in people like Marlo Fiskin, Jeannie Butterfly, Natasha Wang. They're always making up new shapes and discovering new things. And I think that's just because they play. They just constantly play.
Yes.
I'm a little bit more like black and white in my brain, so it's harder for me to just like, let me just see what happens. Because half the time if I do that, it's gonna look dumb.
Right. I feel that too, or I'm gonna get hurt. But I would love to like explore the spaces between the tricks.
Yeah.
I love it. But then it's like, I don't know if this is a new move or if it's just something already created that it's new to me.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Like, I don't know every pole move. So,
right.
Like, I would be one of those people that's like, does this already exist? If not, can we call it Super Crunch Galaxy or something stupid like that? Like,
Super Crunch Galaxy.
I just threw out 3 words.
Definitely a spin trick. I could see that.
Yeah, exactly.
The black hole.
That reminds me of Black Sun Split, which feels like my body's entering a black hole.
Oh my gosh. Right. I hear about how much that one hurts, and I'm like, I feel like I could do that one.
No, I saw my friend do it. Like, so Pole Grace, back when she was up here in Boston, I saw her do it once, and she's like insanely flexible. So she was like full on owling her upper body as she pulled her legs. And I was like, oh, absolutely never, never. Like, no, that move's
That's
just not.
amazing.
It doesn't have to look like that, but once you see that, like everything you do to try to get there just looks like crap. Another tangent. Black Sun Split.
We'll have like bonus
Yeah,
clips
bonus
from
content.
that.
All right. We can
Right. We'll
I was
sign
like,
off
for like
and
an hour and a
wrap
half. Yeah.
This was
it up.
fun. Thank
Yeah.
Thanks for
Yeah,
having
thank
me.
you so much for listening to or watching this episode of Pull in the Call podcast. My name is
you. And Chris Rivers.
And I am Lexi Will, aka Chrissy.
Are those glitter pink? I love it.
No, they're snake pink. I just won them from Hello Heels Instagram giveaway. Blah, blah, blah. So I thought this was the perfect time to bring them up.
And she just lifted her leg looking like a puppet, like just like didn't even look like your leg. I love it.
I told you I'm Flexi Squirrel.
Earlier she said I don't
those
want to
of
do
you listening,
that.
the leg was behind the head.